I'm grateful for every single contribution I get, except for the troll ones. Okay? Here's what
But troll tips still make up quite a substantial amount of your income, though. That's the thing. There are hundreds and hundreds of dollars that you have earned specifically for troll tipping. There's no denying that. It's dumb as hell. And you're right to dismiss it as kind of... You should be grateful for every single bit of money that comes your way, essentially, because that's money in your pocket, even the troll tips. Especially the troll tips. If I had people that didn't like me, but gave me money to say they didn't like me, I would probably be in the same situation where I'd be like, thanks for the money at least. You know, it's a shame you don't like me, but I appreciate the money you gave me to tell me that. Thank you, I'll put that money to good use. Troll tipping is one of the dumbest things to happen in my opinion, but Phil to say he doesn't appreciate troll tipping, it's kind of weird. Obviously, anyone would appreciate the money, surely. Maybe not the message behind it, but the money at least.
I mean by that. People contribute in all different ways. They like my videos. They leave comments on my videos. They like my streams. Okay? They share them with other people to watch, which I appreciate. They become a channel member. They gift memberships. They do super chats. They do super stickers. They do super thanks on the on-demand videos. They tip me. They pledge to my Patreon. In fact, today is the day once a month when the Patreon pledges actually come through. All right? And there's very few people who do it. There's still, I'd say, probably about between 50 to 100 people who still pledge to my Patreon. And these are the long-standing members. People who want to support my content, you know, behind the scenes. They don't care about getting any kind of a public recognition for it. They just like what I do, and it's a good ongoing way to do it.
But why don't you do anything more about Patreon? Patreon should have some more to it. The fact is you're just relying on doing nothing, and people are literally giving you money for nothing with Patreon, and you're perfectly content with that. It's weird. It's bizarre. It's like he's basically admitted it himself. He's like, yeah, people are just giving me money because I'm an awesome guy or whatever, because they love me so much or whatever the fuck. It's fucking weird. It's bizarre. It's strange. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with people happy enough to just basically say, hey, once a month, this is just going to come out my bank account, straight to your bank account, and I don't expect anything for it. This is just basically my DSP bill. It's basically, I was like, 50 to 100 people have a DSP bill automatically coming off them every month through Patreon, and they get nothing for it. They might be able to ask a question now and again for Phil to give the same generic answer to, as he usually does give, even though he tries to fucking pass off the ask the king Patreon questions as more in-depth and all that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, if he wants to, he can go in-depth, and so, like, not even if he wants to, he has in the past gone in-depth and several questions without even any monetary value added to them. He will go on some half-hour, 40-minute tirades based off one person's random comment in chat. It doesn't have to be an extensive one through Patreon only, not shit. He definitely has the ability to answer questions to the best of his ability, you know, shit. It's crazy that it's Patreon for him is still a thing, and he gets away with just manipulating it in this kind of manner. But I'd feel so fucking dirty and disgusting if I had a Patreon, didn't bother my arse to update anything for it, and still took money off people, you know, who were perfectly, if they felt they were fine doing it, I'd still feel weird and bad. I felt like if I had a Patreon, I'd say I'd need to do something for these amazing people who are willing to give me money every month and keep it at that level and make sure I still have this income coming my way, no questions asked. They're still supporting me. What am I doing for them? Oh, I might take one of their questions if they submit it, and that's it. It's crazy to me that Phil just let Patreon die a death like that in terms of the effort he put into it, but he'll still take the paycheck every fucking month.
Right? I get all the support from various different ways, okay? And I really do appreciate anyone who supports in any way, okay? And I feel like it's kind of a reciprocation. When you support me, you're saying, Phil, thank you for the free content. I enjoy it. I appreciate it. I like it. I want to see you keep making more. Here's how I'm going to help you to do that. In which case, when I accept any kind of a contribution like that, I'm saying to you, you're welcome. And please keep enjoying. By the way, thank you for reciprocating the goodness of everything that we have here, right? You like the good content. You're saying thank you by contributing. I say you're welcome and thank you for your contribution. Now I will pledge to continue to pump out said good content and innovate and listen to your feedback and all these things. Okay. However,
Never mind. However, it's either one or the other with Phil, man. It's never fucking black and white. It seems. Well, in this case, it seems to be black and white. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, a lot of times you'll say it's the content that people are donating for. He has just gone from saying that people give him money because they want to give him money to then people giving them money on stream because they like the content. Is it the person they give money to, or is it because of the content they're distributing? For Phil, he thinks he has to play the games in order to get the income. But then he'll fucking argue that he really needs the money and all that shit, he really needs money to survive, got bills to pay and all that shit, and this is his job and not crap, guilt trip the crap out of his fans before they give him money. He'll make it personal. Whenever games are failing him, it's the content that's failed. He'll then put the person on the pedestal and make his fans come forth and give him money. It's like when the game fails, Phil throws himself into that fucking spotlight and say, here I am, the game's gone, here I am to ask for money, give me money so I can then play the game again without telling you how desperate I am for your money. That's the impression I get anytime Phil does this fucking shit.
Understand that this is not a transactional relationship. What does that mean? It means that some people think that because they're spending money on the internet on something, that now they're owed something as a direct purchase. That is not the case with me and my content. Maybe it is the case with other content creators. I wouldn't know. But that's never been the case with me and my content. Essentially, you already have received the content from me for free. You like it, and now it's essentially you're saying, hey, this is the same as if you went to a restaurant, right? And the bill is the cost for the food. Oh, I liked the food. But also you're going to say, I'm going to tip for the service. That's essentially what you're doing here. You already got the content for free. There was
in this kind of context though, Phil, that'd be like our waiter telling us all goddamn meal that he's got bills to pay, that he's really struggling right now, that he's tight financially, that he's not sure if he's going to take his strange little waiter wife to a fancy restaurant tomorrow on his day off. You don't see the waiter constantly telling the patrons of the fucking restaurant that he's financially poor, is he? You don't see that. This is a very poor analogy for that simple reason. I mean, it's the waiter analogy is such a poor. I mean, he's always tried to equate tips to being something like you give a waiter in a restaurant, not shit. But it's not. It's more than that. The fact of the matter is that for Phil, tips are his absolute lifeline, his necessity for him just to survive. It's unreal. It baffles me. It actually baffles me. I was going to say boggles my mind and then say baffles at the same time. So I said baffles or something. It's fuck, man. This triggers me so much. But this is what I'm saying. This is a really poor analogy. I mean, imagine sitting in a restaurant trying to enjoy your meal and this fucking idiot is talking to you non-stop about how he really needs support right now financially and how great it would be for the overall meal experience if he could enjoy some extra tips at the end of it. It's a poor ass analogy, Phil.
There's no bill for the content. You got it for free. But you're saying, well, I liked the service. I liked the fact that I was provided this content in this manner and that Phil is someone who interacts with us and listens to us and he does this and that I like. So I'm going to reciprocate and here's the tip for doing whatever you did. That's good.
I mean, as I'm saying, if Phil actually had never asked for money during gameplay, during a stream, if he just let it happen naturally without trying to preempt it, I would say he's right. But the fact of the matter is, he cannot fucking go 10 minutes, 15 minutes sometimes without asking for money unless things are actually really going well. When things are going great for him and he's getting tips even before people have ordered a starter, in this waiter restaurant analogy of his, then he will not usually go on about the contributions. Even then, when things are going really well, if people tip very heavily right before people have even ordered drinks or a starter to their meal, and then it gets a bit slowed down and people are enjoying the main course, there's not been a tip. They're looking at the dessert menu, there's been no tip. They're enjoying the dessert and there's been no tip. Even though it's been such a successful night for this waiter at this restaurant, he will still feel inclined to kind of remind them, by the way, we've not had any support for my amazing contributions to your meal since the starter, since the drinks at the start of the night. I would really appreciate it while you're chowing down on your dessert if you would contemplate some more tips, because it's been a while since this waiter has had a tip from yous for the meal that you're enjoying. His analogy is so fucking busted for so many fucking reasons. I'm just saying, he wants to use a waiter analogy. I'll use it right back at him and say how fucking stupid it is. If Phil never fucking went on about this shit, he would have a point. But he goes on non-fucking stop about it. He batters his fucking fans into opening their wallets for him, for this cause. It's unreal. And this is Phil's job. But he has to he's pretending like the fucking content is bringing in income when it's him begging, essentially. I know it's an easy detract, I mean to say Phil begs, but the fact of the matter is he goes non-stop, daily. The grind is there. He will ask constantly throughout the day stream, throughout the night stream, throughout the pre-stream. He'll stop recording and fucking beg and send a tweet. Well, not recording to try and hide that fucking from people because he's ashamed that fucking that'll get on YouTube. I know the detractors will upload it anyway because we've got it covered, you know. We will cover all the non-recorded shit, you know, that Phil's too embarrassed to upload as part of his YouTube content. We've got that covered. But it's unreal to me how he can delude himself into thinking it's the content that's raking in the tips when it should be. It really should be. But the fact is, in Phil's situation, the way things are now for Phil, it is him basically stopping everything, putting on the emergency siren and saying, I have bills. I would really like money now. I am your waiter for the night and I need more money from you, kind patrons of this restaurant, so I can have a good day off tomorrow. Never mind your dining experience for the content that you're thinking is average and so. It's unreal. It's incredible.
Right? So when you contribute, that's how I see it, right? And so now I got to commit to do better for you, right? A waiter doesn't provide you with great service, receive a tip and say, oh, well, now fuck this, I'll just act like an asshole forever because I got a $20 tip or whatever, right? No, they're going to continue to provide the good service to their customers in the hopes of it's a reciprocating relationship, right? But you didn't buy anything with your support, right? And I think some people, sadly, that's how they see it. They see it as, I gave you something and I purchased something and now I want back, right?
I would agree with you on tips. In terms of tipping on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, I would agree with you. Tips are essentially saying, it's like an old premise of tips is, here's a bit of money, thanks. But there's other things that Phil provides that he charges money for. Patreon is a good example of that. Patreon, there's certain things that people are paying for and he has to deliver on that. And he just kind of gave up the ghost because it was too much effort for his lazy bastard. Memberships, you know, DSP Gaming has now got memberships and gifted memberships. And he obviously has things that he should be delivering that, but all three tier levels of his memberships are essentially the same thing. And it's a pointless waste of money in terms of the customer buying a second and third tier when you can basically get everything from the first tier already there. So there's basically certain things to expect as a member as well. Even when it comes to like super chats as well, it's kind of like tips, I'd say. Super chats are like tips in my opinion. I know they're not the same, but in terms of weighing them up like this, super chats and tips are the kind of same thing when you're giving money to a content creator simply because you're liking what they're doing. It's just obviously Phil gets a tip straight away, and super chats are rolled in with the YouTube payments once a month. But super chats and tips in this kind of scenario have the same weight. But if you're a member, memberships, you got to fucking provide a certain kind of thing. His thing is like, oh, your name will be highlighted in chat. You may have a crown badge next to you and all that shit, and it's like, yeah, you may have priority for not having slow mode on or some pish. And it's weak ass tiers and fucking incentives, you know what I mean? Basses, and it's unreal. I don't know, but I actually agree with Phil in the fact that tips is not, you know, dictating what someone can do.
Right? So there's been cases, King Tut was definitely one of them, where, oh, I'm going to support Phil, but now I'm going to make demands of him. He better directly do this and this and this as a result of me supporting it.
And you did. You bowed down to his wealth. He rolled in with a hefty fucking checkbook and you bent over for him every fucking time. I remember seeing you stop games midstream for him. You literally played games because he asked for them. He bankrolled a lot of money into the stream and you allowed it to happen. You're blaming him for something you personally allowed.
But when was there ever that agreement? When was that said? You know what really irks me? And I'll be honest, this is a pet peeve of mine. someone will like send a tip without ever having talked to me about it before. And then they'll say, oh, I'm sending you this money to specifically spend it on this and this and this. Wait a minute. When did we even talk about that? Right? I didn't agree to that. You're essentially, when you're sending me a contribution like that, you're forcing me into some kind of an unspoken contract that no one agreed to. And I hate that shit. You know, like, that's not the purpose of a contribution to support my kind of content. You see? It's supposed to be, oh, thank you already for the free content you've already given me. And now this is my way of tipping you and saying, hey, please continue to do it. Okay?
We're just going to forget about the fact that somebody legitimately tipped him one time saying, what Phil was saying, he was short on funds for a game. I think it was Untitled Goose Game, maybe? And somebody was saying in chat, I'll give you the money for it now, if you want. I'll give you the money straight on tips, and you can buy the game. And Phil literally said on the stream, yeah, I guess I can put the money towards the game, yeah. And then he didn't get the game. And the guy literally, sent a message in the chat next stream, was saying, dude, what the hell, you said you're going to get the game and the money. Phil has literally went back in his word before about things like that. So yeah, it's a nice try, Phil, but sometimes you actually agree to what tips are for, and then you go back on your word. It's happened before, it will happen again. You're not very trustworthy.
There you go. So that being said, I think that in a situation like King Tut or others, that's what happened. It was someone who thought they could buy and control stuff, like buy my time, buy my content. That's not how it works. All right? So please understand that. And I appreciate every single piece of support that I get anyway. Really. But that's not what it's all about. So you're not buying my time. You're not buying content from me. There's no demands of me. And I'll give you a different situation that's nice. So behind the scenes, someone recently contacted me and said, I'd like to see you play both versions of the upcoming Capcom Fighting Collection, both on Xbox and PlayStation. If I send you the funds for one, would you do that? To which I responded, yeah, that's a fair situation. That's something that I would go for. That makes sense. You send me the funds to buy one. I was already going to buy the other. So yeah, okay, I'll do that then. And we agreed to it. It was, okay, awesome. And there we go. We talked to it ahead of time. I agreed to it. Now it makes sense. Now, I just send Phil some funds and demand that he uses them for this thing. That's not what it's supposed to be, right?
So what's the difference between what happened then with that that fan and what happened before on that stream one time I just talked about? Is it because you were on the spot and you didn't talk in email before or something like that? You could have said, yeah, you agreed on the spot, yeah, you could use those funds to go towards the game since you couldn't afford it. And then you reneged on that promise. You went back on your word to say you would do that. And you decided not to use those funds for that game after all. And the guy was upset about it, and you didn't really properly apologise for it. You just said, something came up, I had to spend that money on something. And the usual bullshit from you. It's, I don't know, I'm getting close to the edge.
Okay. Nathan, what you just said is fucked up, and I'm going to time you out now. If you ever say something like that ever again, I'm just going to outright ban you. Okay.
Is that Nathan Smith, the autistic guy? Well, I didn't expect Phil to get so angry at one of his viewers. It's one of his charitable viewers like that. But I think we're going through the main crux. So I was told to check out this portion of the pre-stream that I missed last night from playing DSP Bingo. We won DSP Bingo about halfway through the pre-stream, and I just got the hell out of there. And once we got Bingo, I couldn't be arsed to go through the rest of the pre-stream. Most people, I think, would agree and sympathise with me in that regard. But I was told to check out this rather strange rant of his, about the tipping and I thought it would be an interesting thing to literally react to as a first time watching it. And yeah, I can see why people thought I'd find it interesting, put it that way. I've been going for far too long, guys. I didn't expect it to say that long, but I'm going to call it quits there. So that's been kind of jazzed. Hope you enjoyed my wee angry rant at this fucking idiot rambling on about tips and trying to justify what it's like as a fucking content creator. I'm going to end it. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.